Hey you, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
What is
I'm taking
that?
a video.
All right, you ready? What the hell?
Look.
Yeah, I see it. I have no fucking clue. What the actual is that? Look, it's in a head.
Yeah.
It was over there in the field. I don't know if we need to go any further or not now. I was joking about making contact.
I told y'all I'm an unidentified object.
I can't believe they'd be here at.
I don't know what to make of that. That looks super alien, right? Looks like an alien craft. It's a spaceship. That's cool because she said it was over in the field and then now it was up above the hill. I know that was a while ago, but aliens. Hello. Also Kentucky. So special thanks to, I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong, Tyla Ball 5991. Thank you so much for suggesting that we take a look at Somerset, Kentucky. I got a few videos in here about that particular city and then some other Kentucky lore. It's going to be fun. So stick around.
Did something terrible happen at Souls Chapel in Somerset, Kentucky? There's a place in Somerset, Kentucky shrouded in mystery and rumors. A place where the line between reality and tales spun from fear began to blur. When it was still standing, Souls Chapel was one of the oldest Methodist churches in Somerset. The graveyard outside was populated with folks who lived mostly in the 1800s. There are unverified historical stories about the church and its politically divided congregation during the Civil War, one of which even claims this rift attributed to the founding of Bradley's Chapel just a few miles away. While Souls Chapel may have an interesting place in history, the stories involving the paranormal are the ones that seem to draw the most attention. The story began when the Reverend, as he was known, moved into town. He grew his congregation with vigor and speed, his motivation going unquestioned despite the warning signs. Once the pews were full, the Reverend began to change. Strange rituals were implemented into his services. People claimed he would draw symbols on the floor of the church and attempt to summon demons. Then he started bringing small animals to the service, sacrifices for the rituals. Before much longer, large farm animals were going missing. They turned up at the Reverend's services. The acts grew more and more heinous, reaching heights I can't even mention here. In short, the Reverend didn't stop with animals. He moved on to people. When word got out to the community about the murder, the townsfolk decided to take matters into their own hands. They formed a mob and went after the Reverend. He was found later by authorities, hanged from the rafters of the Souls Chapel Church. There are a lot of questions surrounding this case and its story. Much debate has gone on in regard to what's true and what might simply be an invention of the whispers and gossip over time.
So unfortunately, the Souls Chapel has since been burned down, but the cemetery is still there and a lot of the footing of this chapel. And a lot of people say that these grounds are incredibly haunted. So by the individuals that were sacrificed as well as the Reverend. But it sounds like how cults start, right? They start out with just a bunch of people following this person who sounds kind of like they got a normal thing going on, and then he just starts testing the waters and doing more and more insane stuff. And as long as nobody says anything back to him, you just carry on. That's creepy. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, please let me know down in the comments below. If you're having a good time, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
My brother thought he heard a woman's voice, so we left.
The devil worshippers come here?
Often.
Often. Yeah, I think we should go.
I heard it too. Ooh, a worm. We heard people talking. I don't know if it's real people or not, but we heard people talking. Man.
Kids were ghost hunters at the Souls Chapel in Somerset, Kentucky, because like I said, it's supposedly very haunted, right? But what I have a hard time with is that technology is supposed to outline spirits and ghosts, right? And it's outlining just anybody that they see, and that's why she's like, "Floop, turn it down. May I go down real quick?" Because it was outlining that other person that was with them, and that's not what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be outlining spirits, and they're like, "Oh, not supposed to show that." So, yeah, I take that with a grain of salt. Take it as you will.
Did you know that the International Paranormal Museum and Research Center is located in Somerset, Kentucky? It's full of everything from weird artifacts from asylums to more cooling tables, wicker coffins, Fiji mermaids, haunted dolls, Victorian hair wreaths. They even have things like voodoo dolls and different artifacts from haunted places around the world. They have an entire room dedicated to the cryptids of Kentucky, including Bigfoot, a personal favorite, and markings of where he was. Pretty much everything that you could ever want from a creepy museum is at this place, and it's in Kentucky, which makes sense because Kentucky is weird. The history there is weird. The superstitions are weird. Highly recommend.
That is the International Paranormal Museum and Research Center. I wish I could find more information on like the research center part of it, but I did find an interview with somebody who works there, and they said that there's actually in Somerset, Kentucky, there's a ghost train. Obviously, he talked about the church, the Souls Church, how it's supposed to be haunted, and there's gremlins, and there's all kinds of other like suspicious things going on in the city. Like there's cults and stuff that stem from the teachings at the Souls Church way back when. So it's pretty interesting. If you ever get a chance to be out there, or if you are from there, let me know about it.
2 hikers in Kentucky post what seems to be the most convincing footage the internet has seen of the so-called Bigfoot. Take a look.
I hear the bushes moving. What the hell is that thing, man? Are you getting it on the camera?
Yeah.
Almost. Goodness.
Where'd it go?
It's behind those bushes, man. Look.
Oh,
My
God.
What is that thing, man? I didn't know it was that fucking big. It's not coming up here, is it?
No, I don't even think it recognizes, man. Calm down. Be quiet.
Is that a bear? What? Dude, we gotta get out of here.
Hold on, man. I don't think it doesn't even know we're here.
What is that thing, man? Oh my God. Dude, I'm about to get...
The comments seem to be torn with this one. Many users noticing that the arms may be too long for this to be a human in a costume. But we'll leave this one up to you. Let us know in the comments what you think.
As Bigfoot footage goes, that's probably some of the better Bigfoot footage that I've seen, but I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. You let me know. Do you think that was real, or do you think it was fake?
This story comes from Kentucky. A former Somerset police captain has been indicted on nearly 24 charges. This man kept the keys to the building when he retired, and he went back into evidence rooms. He was pulling out all kind of illegal substances and all kinds of things to fuel his habit. So let's get deeper into this story. And so we find out that former Somerset police captain Michael Correll was indicted and is facing 22 charges, including abuse of public trust, official misconduct, third-degree burglary, and trafficking charges. And homeboy retired back in November of 2022, but he kept the keys and key cards after he retired and used them to get into City Hall on numerous occasions to commit some crimes. And this man worked law enforcement for about 20 years, and on top of that, he was a training officer. Wow, Blue Lives Matter, what a bad look. Is this your man's? You say that all cops are heroes. Well, from where I sit, this does not sound very heroic.
I I know this doesn't have anything to do with like ghouls and goblins and aliens and stuff like that, but I went down a little bit of a Kentucky rabbit hole and I just thought this was incredible. This guy kept the freaking keys to the police station. They didn't go, hey, let me have your keys, or make sure that all the keys were turned in. And he's just like sneaking in and taking stuff. That's insane. That's insane. You do your entire life's work as a police officer and then you turn around and rob the joint. What on earth? See, the crazies don't just come out of Florida, y'all.
We need to talk about the Blue family from Kentucky. The rare passerby would see that many of the Fugate family were varying shades of blue. But why? If you guessed inbreeding, you are correct. Martin Fugate and his wife had a recessive gene that causes the condition, however you pronounce that above. They lived in a super isolated and rural area of the Appalachian Mountains. Their town, if you could even call it that, was so small that basically everyone was each other's second cousin. The gene was recessive, but because they were dipping from the gene pool so often, it began to show up more. And if you inherited this gene from your parents, you could come out with blue skin. This condition can come with developmental delays, but the Fugate family was only affected cosmetically. This condition can also vary. While some people were completely blue, some others just looked like they had bruised fingertips or lips. Like I said, they lived way out in the mountains, and it was rare for them to see anybody outside of their town. And once the Fugate family became aware of the dangers of inbreeding, they began to teach this to their children so that they could correct it. The last blue Fugate was born in 1975 and was described as appearing purple at birth. The Fugate family is still around in Kentucky, but they are no longer blue. And if you like weird history, follow my account.
What an interesting genetic mutation. I understand it came from inbreeding, but to be blue? That's crazy. I know there was that one lady that led that cult, right? That Love as One cult, and she turned blue, but that's because she was drinking that colloidal silver. These people turned blue because of a recessive gene in their inbreeding unforking tree. But that's a crazy thing to be blue. Well, it sounds like the inbreeding has stopped, so I don't think we'll ever see that again. Well, at least not there.
If you see this, run. The Poplick monster is a cryptid believed to inhabit a railway trestle in Kentucky. The beast has the ability to mimic human voices. It is said to lure unsuspecting victims onto the high railway trestle by calling out to them in the voices of loved ones or people in distress. Once victims are on the trestle, they are trapped when a train approaches, leading to tragic accidents. Trespassing on the trestle is illegal and has resulted in injuries and fatalities. Attempts to explore the legend have led to real tragedies.
All right, so according to Wikipedia, the Poplick monster is also known as Goat Man, and it's a legendary part man, part goat, part sheep creature that lives underneath the railroad trestle bridge over Poplick Creek, which is in the Fisherville neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. Apparently, this thing will either use voice mimicry, so it'll pretend to be like a different voice, or hypnosis, and it'll lure people in front of the train, and then the train just comes along and kicks their bucket. That's a pretty cool story.
The goblins of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. On the evening of August 21st, 1955, 5 adults, 7 children visited the Hopkinsville, Kentucky police station with a strange story. Group reported they had witnessed a flying saucer. It landed near the farmhouse where they were staying the night. Little men surrounded the house, peering at the frightened families as they attempted to gain entry. John Sutton and Bill Ray Taylor claimed to have fought off the men for several hours before leaving to notify the police. The little men were short, monkey-like, with long arms and webbed hands with talons, large bright offset eyes, pointed ears. They found no tracks or marking outside of the home. Another officer reported seeing a meteor shower in the area, but no flying saucer. Media quickly spread the strange news of the Hopkinsville goblins, or little men.
I don't understand why these goblins were in a UFO. Unless it's an alien that I'm unfamiliar with. Is there an alien that you're familiar with that looks like that? Or maybe they were just hitching a ride or something.
can't see him from right here.
Where'd they go? Huh?
Don't worry, I can hear you all yelling at me. That was actually like a 3-minute and 45-second video, but I had to stop it there because those are very obviously balloons. I know, as much as I love aliens and I want to be like, yes, they were alien spacecraft, they behaved like balloons. And if you had watched the rest of the video, you would have been like, why are you wasting 3 minutes and 45 seconds of my time on balloons? So, yeah. I still wanted to leave it in there for the simple fact that
there is an apex predator living in Kentucky. In the land between the lakes, there is a legend of a terrifying and dangerous creature. Meet the Beast of LBL. This cryptid is said to be a type of dogman that stands over 7 feet tall and possesses massive, crushing jaws, vicious clawed fingers, and red, glowing eyes. Stories of this cryptid date back hundreds of years to the Shawnee, who have folklore that tell of a shape-shifting creature who was once a shaman that took the form of a half-man, half-wolf. It was said that he abused his powers, and now his spirit is cursed to walk the earth. And since the early days of American expansion, hunters in Kentucky have reported strange and unnatural howls echoing through the forests at night. Back then, bison still roamed there, and occasionally their ripped-apart remains, along with other herd animals, would be found, and it was thought that the Beast of LBL was responsible. More recently, the beast has been blamed for a massacre that took place in the 1980s. According to the story, a family went camping in the LBL Nature Reserve. While in their RV, the beast came onto the scene and in grisly fashion took out the entire family. The authorities, however, chalked it up to a random animal attack, leading many to believe that the incident was covered up. But what do you think of the Beast of LBL? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what state's cryptid you want to hear about next.
now I'm not one to believe a lot of the cryptid stories, to be perfectly honest. But that's a good story. That was like a campfire story that you'd tell to scare some kids, right? It probably was just another animal, but you know, they still have some really good cryptid stories in Kentucky. That's gonna be it for me today. I'm calling it here. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We'll watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's gonna be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.